And you put it in the bank, do they have a money?
Good evening, well, it's afternoon still, I guess. Good afternoon and welcome to the Whitman Middle School Building Committee meeting of 11/18/25. We're being recorded streamed WHCA. If everybody would please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Anyone here for public comment? I don't see anybody. Meeting minute approval for 9/22. We'll start with that one first.
I think that's still supposed to be 9/23, Madam Chair, and
Okay.
motion to approve. Stephen Boyce.
Okay, Stephen. Do I have a second? Brandon, okay. All right, any questions, omissions, deletions, other than the 23? All in favor?
I'm abstaining, I was there.
And one abstention, okay. Kathleen is abstaining. Okay, how about 10/21? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Steve and Kathleen. Any questions? Omissions, deletions? Okay, all in favor? Okay,
I'm
unanimous?
abstaining from that one.
You're abstaining, Justin's abstaining. Okay, funding update. Who's gonna take?
Is that us?
Typically that's you, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I guess I'll play the role that I have right now, which is I'm unclear on it. But what I've given you all right now is you have in front of you the budget update according to Munis since the project began. So if you were to look at, I think I gave everyone out. Yep. If you were to look at that, if you go from obviously left to right, involved in it is where we stand today for the things that are in Munis, which is our accounting system. All the backup is also in there. So from that standpoint, I don't have a funding as of date update, but I do have the fact that it was asked for, and here's everything that's taken place for this project since it began to now what we have for October 31st. I already know that there are 3 or 4 items that are still in process, and they will be updated hopefully next month when I give you the next month's update. But what you have in front of you is where we're at as of today.
Thank you, George.
So, do we know the cash on hand?
do we know the cash on hand right now?
I'd have to defer.
Right, so our treasurer is coming in tomorrow. So
Maryland.
That'll take tomorrow.
So do we know if we have enough to approve the bills today?
Yes.
Oh, that we do. I know that.
Yes, we do.
That I know we do.
Yes.
Yeah.
We
I've
have
kept-
cash on hand?
Yes, we
Okay.
do.
Yeah, I've
Yes,
kept
we
a
do.
running tally of the memo that we received on September 30th.
Yeah.
And not knowing whether or not we received the MSBA payment in
I saw
October of 2.4 million.
We did, right.
We'll still have, we'll have 8.4 million if we pay all of the bills tonight.
Okay.
And what I can say tomorrow is as soon as Maryland gives us that update,
Yep.
I'll send it to the treasurer.
Thank you.
We'll work with this week, once it's Friday.
Yep.
Or Friday.
Okay. All right, any other questions? All right.
Just one item.
Yep.
We've got that log now. We're going to take that and compare it to our log.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to let George and Jeff know if there's any discrepancies between ours and theirs. But it's a good, kind of good point in the project here to evaluate what we're showing versus what they're showing. to make sure
Okay, that sounds
we have
like,
everything-
that
we
sounds
have
great.
everything.
Right.
Yeah, sounds great.
The checks and balances.
And I will say that there are, Matt Carews with us tonight, but Matt Carews worn many hats in the district, but right now he's with our Propay. I'm sorry, Josh. He's with our Propay. He's working with Propay. He's working with Brian Hyde, who is works for the company that the district hired. And there are a couple of discrepancies that we're working on with MSBA and Propay, but everybody's aware of it. There are some questions that happen in Propay that says on Article 17, did the steel work with this? Did the steel work with that? So those all get worked out with Colliers, and we have received Most of our payments up to date. There is one outstanding payment that they're looking for questions on, and that we'll answer. And for the end of this month, that'll all be caught up. Because what I've learned in ProPay is that by the end of the month, you have to file everything you need for that month. So that's what we're waiting on. We're waiting to get the questions answered, put it back in, so we can get reimbursed.
Okay, thank you, George. Josh, you had a question?
Yeah, so I appreciate you providing the budget reports on this. The one question I did have, and I believe, email you in relation to the, using operational expense money from either FY '24 or '25, and just a question in relation to whether or not the district used their operating expense at all during that time while waiting for a decision on a ban from the bank, or while waiting for MSBA in relation to any of the invoices that we've paid thus far
No.
for the project.
And we have not.
You have not?
No.
Okay.
No money came from the budget, from the school budget, no.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Justin, you're up.
All right. I got some pictures on here that I'm going to be scrolling through an email just so you guys know. I usually just kind of bring them up, each picture one by one, but a little different today. So some work that's going on over by the Hogg Memorial neighborhood. We have another UDS system, which is that in-ground detention system I've shown you. Kids thought it was a pool, so we don't have 3 pools, we have 3 drainage systems. And this is just them lining up those drainage structures, and I believe the access to that neighborhood is somewhere over in this location. That access will be maintained, and they will have, access won't be shut down to that neighborhood. We had some concerns from the neighborhood saying the kids couldn't get through while they were lining up to do this work, but that access will be maintained, and kids will be able to access through there.
Justin, I actually just walked that road before we came over tonight with the contractors. The access is actually sidewalk, so it's not dirt or anything, it's an actual sidewalk. They've got the fence kind of right up against the sidewalk. I asked them to pull it off just a little bit to get a little bit more space for the students, but it's going to be maintained throughout.
It's the same sidewalk that's always been there, coming from Hogg Memorial. So it's all set to travel, and then our guys can clean it in the winter or whatever for inclement weather, so it should be fine.
Okay.
All right. So we have some ongoing site going on as far as activities. Some new activities that are going on inside the building is this is the elevator shaft. I believe this is on the 2nd floor. They're going to continue to block that elevator shaft up until the top. And then once they're done with that, I'm not sure when the elevator company's scheduled to come in, but that is their kind of background to start working and bolting on the card rails and everything. By next meeting, these are the stairs that are going in, which will have concrete poured in them. Once the concrete's in the stairs, we'll be able to use them. So I talked to the contractor after our OAC today, seeing if we could do a tour next meeting. And they said, yeah, that'd be a great time because we'll access with regular stairs going up. If we want to go up and down the stairs, they should be paved around the perimeter by then. So it'd be a clean site to walk around and enter the building. So we can talk about that after when we're planning our next meeting date. But I just want to let you guys know that that is a potential option. Some more work on the roof. Some curbs in the background getting ready. They got them all sealed up, getting ready to set the HVAC units, I believe, after winter time. Some more of the subfloor. This is the gym area, I believe, in the background, just so you get an idea where we are in the school. And this is the bathrooms. These plumbing pipes are the bathrooms for the locker room in that area, I believe. This is the gym floor in the back corner of the school getting ready. They'll be pouring this. I'm not sure if they're going to do it this week or when it's in schedule, but they'll be doing it soon. This is a retaining wall that's along the backside. I believe they just get this ready to be paved on top of. Like I was saying, it should be paved by next month. More of the building exterior being completed. They should have this building ready for temporary heat in the next couple of weeks. So if we do take a tour, it'll be nice and warm inside the building for you guys. Let me pull one over more. We'll get some more pictures here. I'll go up. So this is work obviously done prior to the pictures I was just showing you, but this kind of shows you what the curtain wall of the building looks like before they close it all in. I was trying to find out what this was. I'm not exactly sure what this little indent was, but I believe this is over by the front side of the gymnasium. This is them getting ready to set up all that block that goes in the elevator shaft. See the hole that goes through? This is that area you saw before when I mentioned that this was the gymnasium area, and this is the locker rooms, bathrooms. This is just how it looks kind of right after they install it. I guess I should have showed these pictures before the other ones, but this is an understanding of how they go back and they kind of neaten everything up and they flatten it all out before they get the concrete mesh put in there, which would be this, just like this as you were to go over those. This is the media center before they closed it in. Nice look at what you guys, once that school's demoed, you have a nice view of the whole campus. And then some more roof work. These are the HVAC curves that they'll be setting rooftop units on. I think I have some aerial shots. No, I didn't have these in these folders, sorry. I'll get you more. So next, we're gonna be moving the access camera, the construction camera. Right now, it's pointing kind of at the building, so it'll be closed in, and we're gonna put it on one of the light poles that are at the baseball field. And what that's gonna give us the rest of the building, the curtain wall going in, all the paving that goes around it, and then we'll actually watch the demo of the existing building, and then them putting up all the fields, so that'll be a pretty cool addition to the whole show. All right. Any questions on what's going on as far as construction? Obviously, we got plumbing, electrical, all the trades in there starting to kind of get their hangers in, get their all their pipes run. A lot of they're starting to frame up the electric room, so they'll start to bring all that electrical equipment in there, the panels, the tubs, to get that all tied into the piping system and getting ready to pull all the wires in. I believe National Grid is going to be inspecting the trench for their transformer this week, so they should be getting ready to backfill that trench, and then we should have a transformer set in the next few months. So, any questions on construction?
Everything's still on time?
On time and under budget.
That's what I'd like to hear.
Two thumbs up.
All right.
All right.
All right, so we'll move on to the financial aspect. So after change order number one, the Fontaine's construction budget is now $91,899,792. And we have expenditures to date of $24,004,900. And as George mentioned before, we got the ledger that we're going to be comparing all these expenses to, just to make sure there isn't any discrepancies, and any discrepancies we'll definitely take care of and make sure everything lines up correctly. But I think we're pretty much on point. This is for your designer. This is billed to date, $9.8 million. And what we have left. Administration fees has been $1.5 million, balance of 4.7. And then we have a current construction contingency of $10,026,049, and a soft cost contingency, or also known as an owner's contingency, of $2.8 million. So $2,876,205. So I think I've mentioned this before. So construction contingency funds change orders for the general contractor. Any construction costs that come up.
I don't think anybody said that.
So we do have a change order number 2 from Fontaine to vote on tonight. And the money for that change order will be funded from this pot of money right here. We also have a change order for our testing agency, which will be funded from the owner's contingency line. Any questions on contingencies? Okay. total bill to date is $39,390,541 with a balance remaining of $86,548,187. All right, so these are the commitments that I mentioned before. We have Briggs Engineering. Initially, when we brought them on, we didn't necessarily have a good reference as far as what we're going to need for curtain wall testing because that was still being developed. But now that we've got that information, we were able to nail down what we think is appropriate for that cost and to have it added to Briggs not to exceed value. So this isn't necessarily what we're going to pay. Most likely they will do that amount of testing, but this is a not to exceed value of $49,800. And then we have Fontaine's change order number 2 that comes in at $626,939.21. So we've reviewed all the PCOs that make up this change order with the vice chair and George. And I believe we're kind of, as we move forward, we're recommending to approve this change order as all the costs are appropriate. We've definitely dug into each one of these PCOs and made sure they're 100% accurate and appropriate for what they're being billed for. Do we want to do a vote on that now?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll take them separately. We'll do the Briggs Engineering first. Kathleen, do you want to read that?
Sure. I
You
move.
don't have to.
No, I do. I move that we approve Briggs Engineering change order number 1 for $49,800, not to exceed.
Second, Stephen Boyce.
Okay. Any questions? All in favor? Okay, it's unanimous. Okay, the second one?
The second one
For
is
AI?
Fontaine Brothers.
Fontaine Brothers,
Yep,
excuse me.
Fontaine Brothers change order, well, it's AI3, has the cover sheet.
Right.
Change order number 2, and I want to thank Justin for getting back in touch with me again yesterday because I still had some questions. So the total amount is $626,939.21.
Okay, can I have a second?
Second, Stephen Boyce.
Discussion.
Discussion? Yes, George?
So obviously, that's a number that's large. There was, $10,700,000 in the contingency. But one of the issues that took place was when we look at those baffles for the drainage pods that are going on, what came up was that there was some inaccuracies in what took place with laying the concrete foundation floor for each of those. As a result, there are 3 of them. 2 of them did not have the concrete foundation floor poured in them. So, active discussion. The price that you're looking at right there that we're asking for includes most of that one issue, which is those concrete floors. It was considerably higher. Collier's worked with Fontaine. There was some omission, not omission, some things of where we're taking place, how are we paying for this. But after active discussion and knowing that this is the beginning process and these things are hopefully not going to happen again or will not be sort of tolerated in a fashion that we're hopefully going through today, we did decide after Collier's did their due diligence to knock down the price over a couple of $100,000 that we would proceed so that the job can continue and we would move forward. So that was the feeling that, I think Kathleen, you can speak for yourself, that I had with Justin and Mike.
So that's the buoyancy slabs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had an extensive discussion because everyone knew ahead of time that this school was being built on a piece of property that had a very high water table.
Oh, yes.
And so we need a robust drainage system, and you don't know ahead of time exactly what you need until you get in there, as with any major construction problem. And I would hate to have an ill feeling between us and our contractors. I think they've done a great job. And I also would hate to have any of our contractors or subcontractors hide problems that surface during the course of the construction. So I think having the work that Mike and Justin and someone else behind the scenes maybe negotiating with Fontaine Brothers, this represents, in my opinion, and I think George's, a fair resolution. Overhead and profit has been eliminated from the contractor, which I think is a fair concession. And so I agree, George, you did a great job, and I agree, we spent a lot of time talking about this.
Okay, any other questions, comments? Okay, all in favor? This change order? It's unanimous.
Great.
All right.
So this is our budget adjustment. This shows the move from contingency into Fontaine's construction contract value. Once we insert the date of approval, that'll reflect on the cover sheet, the cover page, as far as what Fontaine's new contract value will be. So,
I just want to add, even with the increase, it's about close to $500,000, $400 and something thousand. Fontaine's bid is still more than $5 million less than the second lowest bidder. So if anyone questioned that, this was just a legitimate cost that they incurred during the course of construction. And we're still getting a much savings
Yeah.
from this.
An important one, too, for the water prevention.
I'll move on to invoices. So we have 5 invoices being from AI3 Colliers. WSP, the $19,600, that is the code review that we had initially in the start of the project. It was a requirement from the building inspector at the time. We needed to get that done so he would issue a building permit. They completed, they did a great job. We took all the information and passed it over to AI3 just so they could reference it and make sure everything was straight. And yeah, they were great. So that's part of the invoices tonight.
Okay, I have a question.
Sure.
Can I have, Justin, the steel tariffs, didn't we talk about that? We had ordered the steel that came from Canada, and I think, Mike, you told me there wasn't gonna be any tariffs, because we ordered it way ahead of time.
That's right.
So what happened was, we ordered them the day we did it, the tariffs at the time were 25%. So that's what we owned in the contract.
So the day that we bid it, there was tariffs in place?
What happened is, the contractor is gonna own whatever tariffs are in place when they execute the contract. So the day we bid it, the day, that and then shortly thereafter, the contract was executed. At that time, the tariffs for steel from Canada, or for anything from Canada, was 25%. At some point, a few months later, like I'm gonna say early summer, they increased the tariffs from 25% to 50%. So what you're seeing there is the delta between the original 25 and the 50. So it's really the additional 25%.
So but these tariffs go in as a change order. If there was already tariffs in place, why didn't that show up in the original bid?
The original bid already included the 25%. First,
So why are we getting a change order for tariffs?
because it went from 25% to 50%.
The federal government, I think.
Yeah, no, but that 50% wasn't in place when we ordered the steel.
But it was when the steel was delivered. So
It's the
we've actually
delivery.
gone through a lot of
It's the
process.
delivery.
So
But I asked this question, and I was told that because we ordered it, we weren't going to pay that extra tariff.
I think we said we were looking into it, but I think we have looked into it. We identified how are the tariffs implemented. For example, is it per weight, is it per dollars, things of that nature. It is per dollars, and it's actually done on the day it crosses the border. So the contractor actually has an entity that they hire to manage that. They actually pay the money in order for that truck to be able to cross the border. So it comes to the border, it's reviewed at customs.
So we got the steel way up ahead, though, right? I mean, we got that early. So,
But it still didn't come until July and August.
so there was a 50% tariff when it crossed the border?
And there is right now. Like if we had something come.
I know
today-
there is now, but I thought we were early and we got it at the original. Thank you.
Yeah. And just so everybody knows, there is a little more steel that has to come at the end of the project, with the canopy out in the front entrance. So we're hoping by then maybe the tariff will be back down to 25 or even down to
Zero.
An adjustment. So we'll have.
Is there anywhere else to get it?
There is. So you can buy it from America or things of that nature, but it's actually even more expensive to say buy it out of Pittsburgh and have it shipped from Pittsburgh to New England.
Is it really?
And also, I was told that the steel mills, the foundries that are in the US don't necessarily do the intricate work that the beams that we have made for this project. So a lot of that's kind of the specialty up in Canada, is to get the beams that have been specifically made, custom made for this project. So I think that's kind of why there's an added cost, because for them to do it, they have to do something they don't usually do.
Thank you.
I was gonna say, there's kind of two different general subs that do steel. One is the structural steel, which is the big, the skeleton of the building, and then there's miscellaneous metals, which might be the stairwells and handrails and things like that. The stairwells and handrails and stuff are usually more locally sourced out of companies that might even be in Massachusetts, for example. But the larger steel, for the most part, I don't know that even when I was a general contractor 25 years ago, I don't know that I've ever gotten a lot of bids from anybody outside of Canada.
Thank you.
Just to add to the way the tariffs get applied, when the product enters the country, the steel company actually used a customs broker to work with it to make sure that all the fees were applied correctly. The money gets put into like an escrow account, so when the truck gets across the border, it doesn't hold the truck up for a day or two. The fees are paid ahead of time. So our steel contractor had paid this a little while back, so it's good that we're getting this approved in this change order now to get them reimbursed. Do we want to do a vote on invoices? Is there any questions on the invoices before I move on?
So
Go ahead.
I will do my
I'll
thing.
let you do your thing.
All right, so I move that we paid the following invoices. AI3 invoice 0039B-2203 for $64,816.16. Collier's invoice number 1112277 for $78,170.25. WSP invoice number 402222129 for $19,600. Briggs Engineering invoice number 0229720 for $9,287. And Fontaine Brothers requisition number 07 for $3,636,304 for a total of $3,808,177.41.
Second, Steve Boyce.
Any questions? All in favor? Okay, unanimous.
Beth, before we move on,
Oh,
can I?
did you want to speak now?
I
Yeah.
would like to,
Yeah.
if that's okay.
Yeah.
So I guess my first question is the audits, right? Because I'm worried about, and I have been concerned just
Yes.
about the borrowing and
Yeah.
so forth. So has the district received their final signed 23 audit?
Not yet.
Not yet. When do you expect
We
that?
are,
We'll call on Friday.
we have a call on Friday that we're
They have a
speaking
management letter that they're sending us.
this-
Okay.
for the 23.
And the status of the 24, so they're going to start that?
Everything's in, and they started it, and so we're going to push for that. They said in February, but we're pushing for January.
So this is the reason we have a phone call with Jennifer.
Jennifer Cook,
Yes.
Jen Cook.
who I work with.
On Friday.
It should be ready by the end of February. I said, can we push it up to the end of January? We have a phone call at 11 o'clock with Jennifer on Friday.
Okay.
All 24 information that should be submitted has been submitted. They just haven't started to review that yet because they're still finishing the management letter.
I know how they do that, right? They have to get one done before they even turn and look at this. But everything that you possibly
Everything
have
that's
requested,
been sent in has been sent in.
so they should be able to turn, pivot, and
Yep.
start right on
Should
that.
be.
You know,
Okay, so as many of you know, I've been extremely concerned over the past couple of years about the cash flow, financing, and the required audits that are necessary in order for the Whitman Middle School building project to move forward and continue to seek funding to either borrow short-term in the form of a ban or borrow long-term in the form of a bond for the project. So I did have a call yesterday. I wanted to talk to Whitman's financial advisor. We also use UFASI, and so it's Ben Oglesby. And he had his associate, Derek Bogner, on there. He also had Rick Manley, who is the bond counsel. It's probably the same bond counsel that you use. It's Troutman, Pepper, and Locke, LLP. But we went over the timeline and my concerns, and I'm just thinking that we should consider a contingency plan just in case the audit does not get completed in time. So when I spoke with them, we talked back and forth, and they said by mid-January, the audit would need to be finalized, and after you get the audit done, you have to have a rating, right? So
Right.
you need a rating, you need to get that, a rating reinstated, hopefully a favorable rating, and I know there's so much going on, I just don't know where that will go. But let me just see what else I have here for notes. So I feel that it's in the best interest of the town and our taxpayers to consider a contingency plan in case the district is unable to obtain the final 23 and 24 audits and receive a favorable bond rating from the rating agencies. In light of the recent budgetary developments, I feel that a favorable bond rating could be problematic even if the 23 and 24 audits are finalized. So I'd like to have a staff level meeting with Jeff and with George, Brian Hyde, Ben Oglesby, and Derek from UFASI, Rick Manley from Bond Council, Jennifer Cook from CLAs, and then Deb O'Brien, treasurer collector from the town, and Jennifer Argenti, the accountant, to discuss a contingency plan where an IMA, an intermunicipal agreement, can be considered and drafted for the school committee and the select board to consider. This would enable the town to take over the borrowing for the project using the town's bond rating. So a couple of the borrowings that you've gone out for, the district has, because you didn't have a short-term rating, because nobody bid on the bands, we received higher, you received higher interest rates. One of them was, I think, on the 5.875 rating that you got. If the town had taken that ban out, it would have been 3.8 to 4%. So knowing that, to find out at the end of January that you might not get that audit and then the rating reinstated, that's not enough time for the town to take over the borrowing and meet the renewal date of the ban, which is March 18th. So in order for an intermunicipal agreement to be done, the school committee and the select board would need to vote on that, and then an article would be drafted, but we'd have to hold a special town meeting. So we're having a special town meeting anyway. We're going to schedule that in December for January. We need to ratify the fire union's contract. So we already have one perfectly lined up. I just feel that the timeline is very, very tight. So I want to get on a call with CLA, with Bond Council, with our FAs, say, is this realistic, that you really feel confident, CLA, that you will have this done mid-January, is what my call showed yesterday. And I just feel here we are at November 18th. For us to start the process mid-January, end of January, there's no way we could have a special town meeting scheduled. That's 14 days notice. First, we have to schedule a meeting with the select board. Then we have to go out to borrow, which I was the treasurer for 19 years. I've been through several ban issues and bond issues. You have to do an official statement. You have to get your rating. You have to go through all this, the timeline, the sale. It has to be voted and approved by the board. It would be impossible to start this in January. So then what happens when you don't have your audits or have a favorable rating, and here you are, you have to go out? A default would be the very last thing that could happen, the worst thing, and I don't think that it would. I think that you could probably have somebody, again, bid on a ban for a few months until the audit was really completed or the rating was reinstated or that, but that comes at what? It comes at a higher interest rate and a higher cost to the taxpayers and to the town. So I'm not saying that the select board would even go for this. I'm not saying that the school committee would, but I think that it is in everyone's best interest to get on a call, take a real hard look at everything, and to do it now, because by waiting till January, there's no way there'd be enough time to do it. So I think, and the way I envision this happening, if we did go this route, would be for the town to actually borrow the funds. However, everything would stay in place the way it is right now with MSBA and with our OPM and architect, and the district would still handle the reimbursements. The district would still submit and issue payments and all of that. So we wouldn't want to have to go back to the drawing board, and Rick Manley thinks that it is something that could be done. And I think that overall, it would save the taxpayers money if we can borrow at a more favorable interest rate.
Yeah, we'd have to make sure MSBA would be okay with that.
So we
too.
talked about that too. We talked about first having this initial, like a staff level meeting, put the idea out to the school committee and to the select board for them to review. And then the next meeting would be, we would need to include Deb Wagner or Sean Cronin from the DOR. We need to include somebody from MSBA. But to keep this project on track, moving forward, and at the best interest rate that we could obtain, I think that is something that we really need to take a hard look at. So are you okay with that, or just a select few getting on?
I don't see what you're going not to have a conversation.
Right, it's just a conversation.
Let me just ask that question, so we talk to whatever. If it goes through the December meeting, is it voted on as a contingency, or is it an affirm? You know what I mean? So you mentioned the December town meeting.
A January town meeting.
Are you
Yep.
making a decision at that point, or a decision if the district can't?
We'd let bond council figure all that language out.
So I don't see an issue with.
I don't see a downside. I just see it as a contingency and a backup.
The way the process of the audits have been strung out, I would like to have a backup somewhat.
I've watched it, I've followed it.
I think we've submitted everything we can, but I can't guarantee that they're not going to find something that we have to go back to in January.
Oh, they will. They always do, right? They always come back with needing more. I mean, they're very thorough. There are auditors as well.
It's worth the conversation.
Okay, I feel that it really is, because by waiting, then we'll have no option.
My only question is that, can we refine the members of the staff level team? Because I'm not sure if the district wants someone else at the table who's been working on the audits also.
But that's a very important piece, though, when they think they can come through, whether they need to put extra people on to meet the
No,
deadline.
I'm just saying from the team, John Stambrook has been the one who's been handling all the audits.
Oh,
I
adding
would
a
like to
person.
add, yeah.
I thought you meant not having CLA at the table.
No, I'm just saying that
Oh.
you listed a lot of people that didn't
Right,
issue.
that was off the top of my head, who
Yeah,
I
the
thought
one
would
that
be
was
important
doing the
people to
work.
be there.
Yeah.
That's
Perfect.
the person I want.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah, perfect.
Yes, Mike?
The only thing I would say, you mentioned it already, is just, my recommendation would be have the meeting, or the meeting, and then maybe don't wait to talk to the MSB. After
Yeah.
the meeting,
Talk
if
to
you think
them.
you're moving forward, I would start that conversation. We're happy to facilitate that. It's probably beyond our area of expertise here with this, but I just want to make sure that the MSBA is aware of it. They may need some time to think about it, because again, this is out of the ordinary for them, so they have to kind of research it on their side, because they are a funding partner with us. So as long as you're okay with that, I think I would probably go to the MSBA right afterwards. We can set the meeting very quickly, let them know what we're going, that we're intending to go to the school board, we're intending to go to the select board. We don't know what they're going to say, but we want to give them an opportunity, only because the MSBA might need some time to think about it, some time to research it and come back. Sometimes when we ask questions, we don't get an answer that day or the next day. It might be a month from then or whatever, because they're not only looking at you and your district, but they're looking at what they've done with other districts in the past, and they want to make sure that they're not doing something with you that they told somebody else no to before, things like that. So they have a little bit of homework on their side, if you will. So I wouldn't say you have to change anything other than maybe just let's let them know maybe right after that meeting if we think we're going to continue down that path. Let's get them involved.
and like I said, from my side, of course, it's the select board that makes these decisions, certainly not me, but I just feel that it is the right thing to do at this point. Let me just see.
Do you have your January date scheduled already?
No, we don't.
Okay.
And tonight is our classification hearing, which needs to be done and have our tax rate set before we can schedule a special town meeting. However, we do need to schedule it by December 15th. Now, it can be in January, but my goal is to schedule it by December 15th. So I'm thinking the early part of January. But we did go over the timeline and the rough timeline for your next borrowing too. and I believe it was early February, having your rating call. And how can you have a rating call if you don't have the audit complete?
That's why we were wanting January. That's why.
Right, and so
that's why I was going on it too, because I kind of push. Not exactly nice when I'm on with them, as far as trying to explain to them that how important it was. And I already explained that to them on the last call we had, that, well, we're busy, and I said, I understand that, but, for us, it's kind of an emergency. We need it done as soon as possible.
You remember 2 meetings ago, I said I would put all hands on deck 24/7, whatever you need to do to get the information. But you're correct, Jeff, auditors always come back once we give them everything they ask for. Then they have more questions as they look at things, and that's just how audits play out.
22 took a year, but that was
and that's
different.
why
that was different because it wasn't on Munis. Everything now is on Munis, so it is a little bit easier, thank goodness.
I think it's important that we look at this. I think it's the responsible thing to do.
Yeah.
Okay?
Sure. Yes, Justin?
I was just going to kind of add on to what Mike was saying. So talking to MSBA is important early because I'm not sure whether we would need to amend the PFA, which we signed with them. Maybe if the intermunicipal agreement says that the district still handles the reimbursements and the finances, we won't. But so we have at least an intermunicipal agreement, a town meeting vote to change the borrowing authorization that town meeting authorized the district to borrow.
Yeah.
Potentially a PFA, potentially an MSBA waiver, because this is out of the normal process. So there may be other steps beyond just what you've laid out already, Mary Beth.
Rick Manley didn't think so. However, that's what this first call will, reveal.
Make sure we have all our ducks in a row.
And,
Absolutely.
The school committee is voting tomorrow night. We'll be having 2 meetings a month, so that will facilitate anything. We could have a meeting. We're having 2 meetings in December.
Okay.
And so right now I'm thinking the 3rd and the 17th. And then 2 in January, 2 from now on, so.
Okay, and
that's
I
our
think
plan.
that's pretty much, I don't know, the board hasn't set the schedule, but going on our normal schedule, I'm thinking the 2nd as well, and the 16th.
15th, we need to set a special town meeting.
Oh, right, 15th, we're going to have to change it to a Monday, possibly. The other thing, too, is if we brought this to the town, and the town for some reason said no, then it would just be back to where we are,
right now.
worst case scenario. I just hate to see that.
Right.
Money's already there.
Yeah, the money's already there, so it's just how we're doing it, so, and maybe saving them money, so that's a.
Well, that's what I mean.
They would like that. They
We
like
would
to
have
hear
gotten
that.
better rates for
Yeah.
the last few
Yeah.
borrowings, so I think that we should consider it.
Yeah.
We should.
And the town is currently AA3, our bond rating from the DPW building. I think the last time we
It is.
got a rating.
It's AA3.
AA3.
24.
And so, I mean, the State House, when you were looking for State House, it was like AA2. So we're right up there with what the district would get otherwise.
Yeah.
And I think the benefit is that if, I assume you wouldn't go the State House note route again, but if you did, the collateral for that is the Chapter 70 funds. So that puts potentially Hanson on the table too for potentially just down the line there. So I think move the risk to Whitman on the borrowing front.
Well, you may be able to just go out and bond
Or just, yeah, the bond.
at this point.
Well,
rather
that's
than-
what
that was your.
that's what we're hoping to do.
That's what you were trying to do
Right,
last time, and it
exactly.
was a ban. So if
Right.
we do it, maybe it could just.
Yeah, I
it
mean,
could
we'd
just
like
be
a
a
bond. That's what we were hoping
Exactly,
for.
I know. And Beth, just one other comment. I thought about what Josh had said. You maybe weren't at the meeting, but I did mention, I don't know if you remember, a couple of years ago, I always ask the question, do we have enough funds on hand
Yeah.
to pay this? And we didn't at that particular meeting. So I think that funds were used temporarily from the
I don't
district,
know.
and then the
I was
ban
told
came
no.
in time. Before, remember I said we have the funds back by June 30th to close job books. And John said we're going out in May, so yes, the funds will be back. So I was thinking about that as I was watching this. And I was the only one that voted not to pay the invoices that particular meeting. Maybe November, December, January,
I tried to
sometime
vote.
of 20.
Remember that one, yeah.
You remember that one?
Yeah.
But anyway,
I did
just thought-
ask, and they said no, so.
Oh, okay. No, and I was thinking maybe you weren't there.
Yeah, no,
Maybe you weren't there.
but Josh had gave me the question, so I asked him.
Oh,
But
okay.
he had emailed me
Oh, yeah.
earlier, so I went and asked the question.
Oh, yeah, no, I do remember that, but anyway, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Justin, back to you.
Okay.
So this next sheet is what we call our PCO log. And this is what we use. I know it's a little hard to see on the screen, but basically this is how we track the PCOs that we've approved and the PCOs that have been submitted from the contractor that we're reviewing and going to approve. Just to kind of give you an idea of how the log works, this is the description, this is the PCO number, this is the description. This is if it's generated from, an RFI or an ASI or a bulletin, the document that kind of brings that information to us. And then we typically carry a date as far as when the GC actually submitted the individual PCO, so when we've received it. Then we do, Colliers will do an estimate, and it's a real high value, high look at everything, estimate of what we think that this will be in the future before we get the cost. And then this will be the amount once we get the cost in this column right here, GC initial amount. So once they submit that PCO to review, that's where we'll get that value. And then once we know if it's in a change order, we'll list the change order. Oops, sorry, this mouse is extremely sensitive, and I don't know why. Once we get, we feel that the PCOs are ready to go, we will add them into a change order, and that's what you guys voted on today, so change order number 2. So all the PCOs that were in change order number 2 will be reflected as in number 2 in this column. I believe I have change order number 1 just hidden for the time because we've already moved on.
So Justin, the buoyant things on the slabs there, their first told you it was going to be 666,000.
That's right.
Yep. And so you got it down to 418. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's correct. So this is what we use when we meet weekly with Fontaine, with the contractor, to go through what the status is for each PCO or unsubmitted costs or anything that's coming down the pipe, and how we set dates on when things should be, when they should have things back, when we should have our comments back, and it just kind of keeps everyone in check as we move through the process. It keeps it orderly. Any questions about this log? No?
Just one more item on that, just so everybody understands. Today, we voted for change order number 2 for $600,000. That's basically the gray area here. All the white ones, the things we haven't voted on yet. So we're identifying risk. Most of them are things the contractor's identified, but we've actually identified risk even outside of what the contractor has. And we're starting to record that here and analyze it. So we're always looking at that risk and comparing that to that contingency value, that $10 million, if you will. So we're always understanding where we are with the project. And so when we're reporting back to you and we're making recommendations, that's part of that consideration, is reviewing where we're at in the project, what we're going to need to finish the project, and what we're forecasting out. So if we go back to that first page, you'll actually see there's a forecast against that contingency, and that is basically if we took all of these change orders at the current values and closed out today, that's where it's at. But just letting you know, we make a very conservative number in there. We're not putting a low number there. We're putting a reasonably safe number in there as we're negotiating. And when we actually get it down to the final number, you'll often see that number comes down. But we're always comparing that and always making sure that we're keeping an eye on your overall contingency. If that makes sense. So that's that negative 1640 number. That would be all those change orders if we approved them as is. But we're going to continue to review those. And I will tell you, for example, there's several of them that the design team and the OPM team have already rejected, and the contractors are going back to their subs to confirm whether they agree with the rejection or if they're going to continue to pursue them. But we made a very good step forward over the last month or so here with getting that change order 2 done. There was more than 20 individual items that were closed out. At the same time, we probably closed out another 8 to 10 other items that came in at zero cost, basically, things that were already submitted. So we're going to keep looking out for your best interest, and we're going to keep monitoring that. But as soon as we know about something, it goes on that log so that we're tracking that risk for you.
All right. Any questions about that? this, I apologize, this mouse is brutal. So this is also a PCO log. This includes what change orders have been approved, and we record the values on this sheet, then submit that to the MSBA. So the MSBA takes this information, so this is just change order number 1, but now that change order number 2 is approved, we'll be putting those items in this list. This is how the MSBA views these changes and contingency draws. They'll analyze this and they'll take into consideration what is eligible and what is not eligible for reimbursement. So you do get reimbursement on change orders. That money does not come until the end of the project is closed out. But just so you know, when we're going through these change orders, that there is potential money to come back on these. This log helps them kind of understand what's going on. It's a little vague in my opinion, but I don't think that matters to the MSBA. But so it breaks it down into structural, site, utilities, plumbing, electrical, HVAC, and miscellaneous. And then they ask us to kind of categorize what these changes are, what they stem from. Whether it was something in the design that didn't get transferred over in a layer, or if it was something that was unforeseen that we couldn't have known about. So that kind of just identifies what each one of these, the reason for each one of these changes. So like I was saying before, this is submitted to the MSBA on a quarterly basis. And yeah, any questions on that? All right, cash flow. So I think a couple meetings back, we did say that we're going to have, we're pretty much right in line. Right now, we're a little under, which is okay because we have the funds. And as we get through December and then into the next year, we should be looking really good as far as the funds that we should have on hand. So you can see in the graph, we kind of dipped below a little bit. Now we're back right in line with that green line. The red line shows where we're currently at. Any questions on financial matters before I moved on to the next item, which is schedule? No?
Yes, no?
All right. All right, so still trucking along in construction. Some of the things that are coming down the pipe, we're getting our generator. I think this week will be delivered, and I believe the main switchgear will be delivered next month. Yeah, okay, right here. So we'll keep working throughout construction, and then once the building's complete, you notice this item flush out period. This is when they run the HVAC system full bore to kind of get everything out of the building, to run complete fresh air throughout the building to kind of clear everything out that dust or anything like that gets built up during construction. So you have a nice clean, brand new building. Sorry guys, this mouse is brutal. I'm never using it again. Any questions on where we're going or any of the items that are on this list? Oh yeah, so today we had a meeting to go over the finishes in the building. I think it went great. The design team did a really good job. Displaying everything all the colors and the design that will be in the school. I think it looks great. I even said most of the colors are what I personally painted my house with, so I definitely was a fan. So that we had that meeting today. We do need to get some other items on the books as far as scheduled. That would be signage, so how the signage around the school will be, how we'll look and how we'll lay those things out. And I believe we're going to do an FF&E, a furniture review to make sure the furniture that we're getting in the building is what we kind of was initially described throughout the design process. I think that's it. There might be one more. Oh, and then we have a loading dock, but that's boring. No one wants to talk about it. So, yeah, so any questions on schedule? All right. So you'll notice in the agenda, there's one more item. This is for an RFP for a tax consultant. So what I'm asking you guys to vote on today on this is to move forward with soliciting proposals for a tax consultant to go through any and all energy-related or design-related tax incentives that we can obtain with our building, whether it's construction or design-related. Right now, this vote wouldn't, it doesn't necessarily apply funds to anything. This is just to move forward and issue this to different firms to see if they can come back and give us an idea of what something like this will cost and how much we could potentially get back with the energy incentives that are currently in place. It's something that we'll have to look at once we get all the information back, and if it's something that costs $10,000 but it'll give us $150,000 to $200,000 in incentives, I think that's a pretty no-brainer right there. So, any questions on any of the information in this RFP?
Ready?
So if I could ask, so just to move forward with obtaining these proposals, I think we need to vote on that.
All right. Can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion.
A second.
All in favor? Okay, it's unanimous. You're all set.
And then I did mention at the beginning of the meeting, before we decide on the next meeting date and when and where it is, Fontaine let us know that it would be a good time to take a tour. So if that's something you guys want to do next meeting, we could have it at the middle school and then afterwards, or before or afterwards, however you want to work it.
Yeah. I noticed that you have the 15th, those are Mondays and not Tuesdays.
Oh, sorry.
Just
So
also,
it would be the 16th and the 23rd. I know I wouldn't be here the 16th, but you can't have a meeting and you would have to run it, Kathleen.
Okay.
23rd, the schools will already be
Out,
shut down.
right. Unless you wanted to change the night. That's up to people. But if the 16th is okay with everybody else, but I'll make a special tour with you guys. at
Absolutely.
some-
Come down anytime.
Yeah, yeah. So you want to have it on the 16th?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, you're okay with the
Yes,
meeting?
yep.
Okay.
Hey, FinCom at 6:30 that night, the 4:30 meeting. We usually
Here is
sit out
okay,
here.
yeah,
Yep.
okay.
And it will be at the middle school?
At the
You
middle school.
want to have it at the middle school? Okay.
Can I ask a question? So we're going to go through the building. Would that be better just for light to do it at like 4? I mean, can anybody make that? You know what I mean? Or are we going to, or at the beginning of the meeting at least, just to go through?
Right. I mean, it'll be dusk, probably around, like it's getting
Yeah.
darker earlier, but I mean, the building's lit up.
Yep.
It'll be perfectly visible inside. Around the outside might not be as bright, but we can certainly make sure that there's no safety concern.
Yep.
So yeah, whatever you guys want to do.
It's just about the shortest day of the year, right?
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, right.
4 o'clock might be better, just from a...
For the tour and then meeting to follow, is that okay?
Okay with you guys? Okay. 4 o'clock and then the meeting to follow.
Yeah. The Animal Kingdom, just gotta see the Animal Kingdom launch.
Okay. Okay. Anything else? Justin, Mike?
That's all I got.
Okay, motion to adjourn? Motion. Second. All in favor? Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.